Welcome back. On to a story that concerns lakhs of students all over the country. The Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal today said that he's directed a committee chaired by the Director General of the National Testing Agency that has been formed to review the ongoing COVID-19 situation to make recommendations regarding the conduct of the Joint Entrance Examination Main, which is the IIT Joint Entrance Examination Main 2020, as well as the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, the undergraduate or the NEET 2020 exam. These engineering and medical entrance exams are among the toughest entrance exams that students face. The IIT-JEE Mains are scheduled between the 18th and 23rd of July, and the NEET exam is scheduled to be held on the 26th of July. Now, looking at the prevailing circumstances and requests received from students and parents appearing for the JEE and the NEET exams, a committee consisting of the DGNTA and other experts has been advised to review the situation and submit its recommendations to the HRD Ministry latest by tomorrow. This was the tweet that was put out by the Education Minister today. So what is it that students who are appearing for these exams, what is it that they want? Well, we have Harshal. He is a NEET aspirant who is joining us from Patna. We also have Jay Sharma, who is an IIT aspirant joining us from Delhi. Let me begin with you, Jay Sharma. The Education Minister today has asked for recommendations on whether these exams should be conducted in a pandemic. What do students like yourselves preparing for one of the toughest entrance exams feel about this?
I want the exam to happen as soon as we have been working very hard for it for past 2 years. And during the pandemic, it's definitely difficult for the government to conduct the exam, but as being a student, it's tough for us as well. During the Corona time, it was a hard time to cope up with studies. So I want government to conduct the exam as soon as possible.
So you want the exam to take place irrespective of the coronavirus situation that is prevailing in the country today?
I believe that the government should take proper measures so that safety is ensured.
Okay.
But I still want the exam to happen as soon as possible because as I said, we have been working for it for past 2 years, and to maintain the tempo for so long, it's very difficult for us.
All right. Right. Jay, explain to us, just how difficult is the IIT main examination? How many years have you, for instance, been preparing for?
IIT-JEE Mains is a tough examination, followed by IIT-JEE Advanced, which is even more tough. And I have been preparing for it for past 4 years, and especially 11th, 12th completely dedicated to exam. And for mains, you need a lot of practice other than boards. So we have to dedicate a lot of time to score good marks in that exam.
All right. You've been preparing for the IIT exams for the last 4 years. Jay Sharma, they're appealing to the government to conduct the examination quickly because students like him don't want to prolong the anxiety of having to study further and deal with the uncertainty of postponement. Harshal is a NEET aspirant. He's joining us from Patna. Harshal, आपको क्या लगता है? NEET का एग्जाम पोस्टपोन किया जाना चाहिए, बाद में करना चाहिए, कि आपको लगता है कि अभी एग्जाम करके खत्म कर देना चाहिए? बिकॉज बहुत सालों से स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं इन एग्जाम्स के लिए प्रिपेयर करते हैं.
First of all, good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, health is wealth. अभी अगर एग्जाम लिया जाएगा तो बहुत सारे केसेस बढ़ रहे हैं कोरोना की वजह से, तो इस वजह से एग्जाम कंडक्ट कर पाना सही नहीं रहेगा, क्योंकि मेरे 2-3 फ्रेंड लोग अभी हाल फिलहाल में ही कोरोना पॉजिटिव पाए गए हैं जो कि नीट एस्पिरेंट्स है. तो इस वजह से अभी राजस्थान में ही हाल फिलहाल में ही एग्जाम्स हुई थी, इसके वजह से टीचर्स और स्टूडेंट दोनों कोरोना पॉजिटिव पाए गए हैं. तो अभी मेरे हिसाब से एग्जाम लेना सही नहीं रहेगा, क्योंकि हेल्थ इज वेल्थ मैम, एंड कूल एंड काम माइंड brings a strength, inner strength and self-confidence, ma'am. That's why I am not agree.
Okay. Harshal, how long do you typically prepare for the NEET exam? How many years have you been preparing for this exam?
I am preparing for 3 years, ma'am. Actually, I am preparing for 3 years.
But you've been preparing, Harshal, for 3 years. And yet you're willing to deal with the uncertainty of postponement because you're saying that you don't feel safe to go and write an exam in the midst of a pandemic.
Yes, ma'am. क्योंकि self vehicle भी नहीं है ना, public vehicle use करना पड़ रहा है और फिर अभी इतना ज़्यादा कोरोना केसेस बढ़ रहे हैं. अगर मान लीजिए अभी एग्जाम लिया जाएगा तो अभी तो सारे क्लासेस स्टार्ट तो होंगे नहीं, तो फिर क्यों ना अभी जब कोरोना अच्छे से खत्म हो जाए, मतलब खत्म तो होने वाला नहीं, मतलब एक लेवल पे आ जाए ताकि फिर दोबारा एग्जाम या फिर क्लासेस शुरू होंगे, उस बीच में एग्जाम ले लेने में क्या दिक्कत है. अभी अगर एग्जाम ले भी लेते हैं तो क्लासेस तो शुरू होंगे नहीं. अभी तो पूरा 2-3 महीना ऐसे ही चलेगा, तो क्लासेस तो शुरू होंगे नहीं. इस वजह से अभी एग्जाम लेना मेरे हिसाब से सही नहीं रहेगा.
Okay. Jay, I know you have a different point of view. It's very interesting because we have 2 students here on the broadcast. One who wants to just get done with the exam, can't deal with the anxiety of prolonging it, and one student who actually says that we fear for our health and safety and therefore don't feel safe to write the exam. Jay, what would you like to say to students like Harshal, and I'm sure there are many like him who believe that, you know, they're not comfortable, they feel scared to step out and write an examination in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of, you know, India's cases rising so steeply. We've had over 19,000 cases today. Are you not worried?
Yes, amid the pandemic, I'm worried for my health, and I know it's quite tough, but still, as I said, I've been maintaining the tempo for past 2 years, and to continue it for next 4 months, 2 months, like uncertainty is there. So we do not know for how much long we won't have any exam. So I believe it should be done with because we have been preparing a lot. So we have been forgetting things like as the time prolongs.
Jay, what about the pressure? You know, we know that these are extremely high pressure exams. They're among the toughest entrance exams in the country. You know, some of the best and the brightest minds appear for these exams. How much of a difference does it make, you know, giving an exam, writing an exam in the midst of a pandemic, if, you know, if the exams, in the event that these exams are not postponed, the HRD ministry is asked for recommendations, so we don't know what's going to happen. But has that added to the pressure? Has the pandemic added to the pressure? Has the uncertainty added to the pressure?
Yes, ma'am. Already the exam is itself very tough. So during the 3 hours, the pressure is very high. In addition to that, we have corona to deal with. So we have to maintain proper social distancing and keep in mind that we have to stay cautious at each and every point. So yes, the pressure has increased a lot, and it might affect the performance as well during the exam, but still it would be great if they conduct the exam as soon as possible.
Okay. Harshal, I want to ask you, what about the pressure? I know that, you know, you are for the exams to be conducted in more conducive environment. You have friends who've tested corona positive. You're worried about your own health. But what about the pressure? Is there additional pressure apart from the fact that you're preparing for one of the toughest examinations in the country? Is there additional pressure of the pandemic? Harshal? All right, Harshal, I'm going to come back to you. I believe we've lost that audio line with Harshal, so we're going to try and fix that audio. But Jay, what do you have to say to students like Harshal? And there are many students like that who believe that, you know, this isn't the right time. They feel they're not in the mental space, they're not in the mental state of mind. You know, the impact of the pandemic, the subsequent lockdown has impacted, you know, people in more ways than one. What do you have to say to students like that?
Ma'am, I believe that if government organizes the exam, government will ensure that proper sanitation and health of a child is taken care of. And JEE Mains is conducted in computer centers, so there's proper social distancing over there. So I think for JEE Mains, it's not much big of a problem. But for NEET, a lot of children have to appear for the exam on a single day. So I can't really compare the situations.
Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting because the IIT exams are scheduled between the 18th and 23rd. The NEET exam takes place on one day. So lakhs of students actually have to appear on one day. But very last word from Harshal. Harshal, you know, has the pandemic added to the pressure Has it been a very difficult time preparing for the exam, dealing with the uncertainty and the threat of the pandemic?
यस मैम, पैंडेमिक बहुत सारा प्रेशर ऐड किया, जैसे कि कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स, मतलब जैसे हम लोग कॉम्पिटिटिव सिचुएशन फेस करते थे, क्लासेस जाते थे, एग्जाम्स देते थे, वैसा सिचुएशन घर बैठ के ऑनलाइन पेपर देना, कोई कंपटीशन का माहौल ही नहीं है, बस ऐसे ही पेपर देना, मतलब कुछ वैसा माहौल क्रिएट नहीं हो पा रहा है। प्रॉब्लम तो ये भी है, और दूसरी प्रॉब्लम ये है कि इतना दिन गैप हो गया है तो पेपर में भी टफ भी हो सकता है, तो ये सब चीज भी प्रेशर ऐड कर रहे हैं, मतलब एडिशनल प्रेशर along with pandemic, ma'am.
Right. And what about coaching classes? आप लोग बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं नीट और आईआईटी के जो कोचिंग भी लेते हैं, पैंडेमिक में क्या ऑनलाइन कोचिंग, are you going through ऑनलाइन कोचिंग?
यस मैम, ऑनलाइन क्लासेस के थ्रू मैंने कवर अप किया,
right.
कुछ टॉपिक्स छूट गए थे, उसको कवर अप किया ऑनलाइन क्लासेस के थ्रू, और टेस्ट दे रहा हूँ, तो टेस्ट को एनालिसिस करने के बाद उसमें जो डिस्कशन होते थे पहले फ्रेंड से या टीचर से, तो वो ढंग से नहीं हो पा रहा है, तो ये सब प्रॉब्लम अभी फेस करना पड़ रहा है, घर बैठे कंपटीशन का माहौल भी नहीं मिल रहा है, तो अभी एग्जाम दे पाना।
I think there's more than one issue here, of course. The uncertainty of appearing for an examination, physically being present in an examination center in the midst of a pandemic, is it safe? And the other concern, of course, is the impact of the lockdown. The fact that, many students who haven't been able to meet their friends or work in study groups to ease the pressure. Either way, whichever way the government decides, there's hopefully going to be a decision soon that will rest all the uncertainty. But Jay and Harshal, thank you so much for taking out the time of day and wish you all the very best.